Today on Fashion Guide, the best fur collections from one of the most famous auctions in North America. The most memorable examples from Fashion Week in Milan, original ways to display clothes with the help of acrobatics, and the experiments in style by the Russian fashion diva Xenia Sobchak and a few Kazakh designers. Furtastic. Expensive and elegant pelts, rare methods of breeding fur in different styles and variations. One of the most famous fur auctions, called NAFA, held a fashion show in Almaty. This organization is the oldest fur supplier in the world and holds the leadership in modern fur fashion. The organizers decided to please guests with pieces by the world's most famous designers: Michael Kors, Denis Basso, Gianfranco Ferre, Guy Laroche, and others. Fur from auctions is always very high quality. Today there is a label that marks the origin, which means the origin is guaranteed, and it is used all over the world. And no fur shop can sell anything without this label. It means that the fur was bought at the auction and was sourced humanely.
А это означает, что мех приобретен на аукционе и что мех добыт гуманным путем.
Fur, it seems, will always be popular. There can be changes in form, color, and length, but women of all ages throughout the world will want to wear fur coats and capes, in spite of efforts by organizations like Greenpeace.
And in addition to this, fur doesn't really go out of style because so many of the things that we have, where we see the trends, they're classic, but they're still trendy. You can dress up a fur, you can dress down a fur. It can top so many different types of apparel. It's an investment. So in terms of being expensive, I think not so expensive, but it makes you feel expensive.
Unlike fast-changing fashion, the fur industry is a permanent fixture of the classical style in the world of fashion. But seasonal trends still have an effect. This is a straight silhouette, a little bit like a man's cut. But of course that doesn't mean that it can't be feminine. Fitted silhouettes in the style of Christian Dior are popular too. One of the most luxurious materials is lynx cat and the rare black mink black napha, although popular models can be found in cheaper variations. We also have cheaper furs, like beaver or raccoon. You saw the collection from groomed and long-haired beaver, and it looked amazing. People usually mistake groomed beaver or otter for a mink. Also, modern technology helps us to make wonderful things out of beaver pelts. Milan, Dubai, Hong Kong, and Moscow always were fur capitals. Pelt auctions always took place there, but today professionals in the fur industry confirm that Almaty is emerging as another point on this map. People here value fur as well. Fashion Guide continues with highlights from the biggest fashion shows of the Spring-Summer 2015 season. After London, another style capital, Milan, took the Vogue relay. The main event, of course, was the fashion show by Italian designer Miuccia Prada, with a collection of clothes that looked inside out, contrasting white seams and hemless cuts. There were also coats with classic silhouettes, skirts and sheath dresses with geometric designs. Miuccia Prada is an admitted visionary in the world of couture and glamour, which means that we've just witnessed the trends of the next season. Another tendency of next spring is hippie chic, that was interestingly reinterpreted by Roberto Cavalli. He offered fluttering dresses, sewn from thousands of stripes of motley fabric, and innocent but seductive outfits from white lace. In his other line, Just Cavalli, the couturier presents an array of colors, juicy combinations of marine colors and saturated purple, burgundy, and sky blue. But the most interesting pieces were striped trousers that looked like trainers, but the designer combined them with turned-down collars and shirts, resulting in an uncommon kind of look. Donatella Versace presented her new Versace Girl at the fashion show. Now the heroine of the Italian fashion house looks more simple, but also more elegant. No complicated drapery, corsets, or animal prints. Her silhouettes became more minimalistic, the colors more pure. Straight geometric lines dominate the prints. But of course, the hint of sexuality inherent in Versace's work also remained. Short skirts, lots of skin, and high slits. Versace uses top stitches in making outerwear, as does Prada. Cocktail dresses studded with sequins were the brilliant finale of the show. The new Gucci collection had several main themes in it. First is the military style. There are epaulettes, metallic buttons, and military colors. Cowboy cuts interlace with it harmoniously. Denim, suede and leather, lacing and braided belts. The designers also added jackets that looked like kimonos in light fabrics. The result was a courageous experiment that mixed several styles, and it was one of the brightest fashion shows of the Milan Fashion Week. A lot of brands try to stand out with dramatic collections and also with extraordinary ways of presenting the pieces. The runway is not always necessary. Designers from the American brand VPL decided to use gymnasts, a video recording, and the internet.
I think it's changed an environment where the fashion runway images are all over internet as soon as the show is over, and they're commoditized, and we feel that as a fashion activewear company, also runway was not a perfect way of showing our active clothing. It just wasn't convincing, it wasn't authentic, and it was, for us, it was better to shoot the action and performance beforehand, because doing the performance in the right fashion show is not possible.
The project directors thought that this would be the best way to demonstrate how the clothes look in motion. Fashion gymnasts, dressed in the brand's spring-summer collection, climb on metallic structures, fly over a river, and exercise near heavy construction equipment. In a word, they perform the miracles of acrobatics. The designers plan to release these videos on the internet.
With the help of technology, it enables us now to be able to edit, show the video in a pretty, short lead time. That was not possible before, and I think that is giving us a different options, alternative to runway.
But of course, it's still hard to say whether creative video fashion shows like this will take the place of traditional runway shows. However, this is definitely a brand new concept in the fashion industry. Famous television host and one of the most popular Russian fashionistas, Xenia Sobchak, poses in pieces by Kazakh designers. For her most recent photo shoot in her new journal, the TV diva tried on clothes by Almaty designers. In our program, Xenia and the famous stylist Oksana On shared this experience and highlighted the most interesting names in Kazakh and Russian fashion. I've prepared and picked some looks based on some minimalistic concepts. You can see that everything is minimalistic. And this is a reflection of Xenia Sobchak herself as a very serious person. I like this skirt and the whole of Alima's collection. Very beautiful. And I like this dress made from eco leather by Zerebtsov. Really beautiful. Xenia Sobchak herself is known as a big fashion lover. She noted the professionalism of Kazakh designers. I like this tender and high-quality velour suede beige jacket very much. And this transparent black skirt with flowers. Aika Alimi's tender velour top, Alima's flowered skirt. Generally, trendsetters say that support for local fashion is a true act of patriotism. Xenia Sobchak is a fan of Uliana Sergenko's creations. The television host has been sporting pieces by this Kazakh-Russian designer for a long time. And today, Sergenko is a permanent participant of the Paris Fashion Week, and she recently made the list of the most influential people in the fashion world. Another designer recommended by the Russian It Girl is Alexander Arutinov. He is already familiar to the Kazakh audience as a participant of the Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week in Almaty. This is a man that makes unbelievably beautiful clothes. Every time I wear his dresses, I get lots of compliments. I was at the closing of the Venice Movie Festival recently, and I got tired of the comments on Instagram by some photographer that picked me out in this dress. It seems to me that today there's a new trend for Russian fashion too, and it's very important to support it, to pay attention to it, because this is what I call true patriotism. And Xenia Sobchak is convinced that many talented designers from CIS countries are making much more interesting clothing than some famous brands. That's all for today. Keep watching for the latest news in the fashion world and stay stylish with Fashion Guide on the Kazakh TV channel.